Hello and welcome to another Mountain View Softwash video. And today I'm in Fort Collins, Colorado. It's a beautiful sunny day. We've got a lot of traffic going on, so it's going to be hard to hear. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear this with no problem. Big event happening here. We're washing this house, which is pretty cool. This is a administrative house right now called the Diversity House, and they are having a big event, which you can see these guys are setting up. And they're renaming the house and giving tribute to a person who's really influential in the area, and they're going to name the house after them. So 100-year-old house. I got Franco over here. Where's he at? Right there. He's doing a water down all the plants. Got a little noisy street here, but this is what we're dealing with today. And as I promised, I'm going to be doing a really quick walk around video on the truck today, kind of giving you guys a little bit of an overview, maybe a little more detailed on what's on the truck, what we use, etc. But let's take a look at this house and see what we're dealing with today. All right, so as I mentioned, Franco's doing a little bit of a wash down on a rug right now, but he's just getting these plants nice and soaked, making sure they're drinking. Now, I don't think we're going to be using a lot of bleach on this house. In fact, I haven't done a paint test yet, but I'm going to be doing a paint test. It's an older house. I don't know how old this paint is. I don't know how it's going to react. Truth is, we don't need a lot of bleach in this home, but I want to use the bleach to bump up the pH on our soaps because it is dirty. So that will help increase the usability or the concentrate of Terra Wash that we use, which is our dirt emulsifier. So adding a little bit of bleach in there kind of helps with that. If I have any kind of reaction, obviously I'm going to remove that bleach out of there, just simply because we don't need it. But we're dealing with a lot of older windows. I quoted out the roof, but they decided the roof's too much for them. It is pretty dirty, as you can see. I don't know if it's picking up for video or not, so maybe you can't see it. But it's pretty dirty. It hasn't been touched for a long time. We do have some pine needles in this corner that the maintenance guys were supposed to pull down prior to us coming out, because I did quote them gutters, but they decided to have their own guys do it, which is absolutely fine. But they missed that, so I'm gonna pull that down for them. And I think they might have kind of did a basic spray down because the house isn't as dirty, but there's still a lot of dirt on here, but it's not as built up as I remember when I came out and quoted it. We do have a lot of dirt in these little ridges here, as you can tell. And again, one of the big selling factors for them was the fact that we're a low pressure system. They've got some older paint here. There's some areas that's a little bit flaking. I think there was some areas over here, and you hit that with the pressure washer, you get too close, you're gonna be ripping off paint. So we're gonna hit all these windows. These are newer windows. I think this back part was an addition to the older house. If you can see, like, this is the original house here, 100-year-old original house. They added this on at some point. Not too sure the date on that. Doesn't really matter, but they increased this house to about 5,000 plus square feet, and it's just dirty. They got bird poop, they've got a layer of dirt on here. It's very noticeable. A lot of dirt in the windows. We've got a dirty patio area over here. So again, we're not dealing with a whole lot of organics. We're just dealing with our good old Colorado dirt, which is what we've been specializing in for the most part. But pretty cool house. Excited to get this nice and clean for them. They've got a big event, like I said. So the important part for them is going to be the front, not so much the back, but we are going to be doing the entire back area as well and cleaning this up and getting all the dirt off. Just give them their money's worth for sure. So we've already gone around. We've taped off pretty much all the electrical that we've seen. Clever little trick that I picked up from a couple guys in our group, using these hair nets to cover these outside outlets. I've been having problems with these. Even though we tape them off on the inside, we still put a hairnet on them. When we were taping off on the inside, I still had cases where the water would get in behind the tape. I don't know how that was happening. It was a waterproof cover, but still water was getting in there. So adding a hairnet on top of our electrical has really been kind of a game changer. A nice thing, you know, property protection's one of the things we put on, you know, first and foremost. And we'll make sure we're continuing to do that. And of course, all this stuff is going to get removed. We'll probably have to scrub a few areas. That's looks like they sealed up with some silicone in these older boards that are leaking, and silicone has a way of just kind of gathering the dirt. But we let our product sit on there, do a little bit of scrub on those, that'll come right off. It'll look really nice. But that is what we're dealing with today. So without further ado, I'm going to do a walk around video, and then we'll shoot a little bit of our process. Essentially just doing a kind of a, not a roof down wash, but just taking care of the siding, getting all this dirt off. So it's not going to be anything fancy. We're going to do a light application. I'll show you what we're going to be using on the truck. Like I said, I haven't yet done a paint test, so I don't know how this paint's going to react to adding just a little bit of bleach. Again, we don't need it, but I like to use it to kind of boost up our surfactants. So we'll get going on that, and I'm gonna switch over here and do a walk around video for you. Alrighty guys, so this is what I'm gonna do. It's got a lot of activity going on. You got weed whackers going on over here. These guys are unloading over here, so you got a busy street. So hopefully you guys can hear this. I'm gonna keep this pretty close to my face and just kind of show you from this perspective. But this is our soft wash truck. You guys seen it in many videos. I've done a kind of a brief walk around before, but starting from the front back, we got our little cone holder here. Nice little way to keep all of our cones out of the way. Pretty awesome little custom job. And then coming back over here, and I'll go right to left here. Hold on, I'm gonna pause here, let this guy do his thing. We'll be right back. Alrighty, so obviously we got a toolbox here. Got a nifty little ladder. This is a great box made by Decked. Did a lot of research on these. They're not cheap, but they're extremely durable, waterproof, and extremely hard to break into. Love the material these are made out of. But again, that's Decked.com. You can find a whole assortment of different truck accessories, but an awesome box. Way better than like the old metal ones you get. Obviously we've got our brush holders here. And from the top down, we let me get that in the hole. We got our deck brush here. We got our siding brush, our green brush, which is normally here, is for our windows. And this bad boy here is our Doka pole. And this is I believe 32-foot pole that helps us get to the very top of some of these big houses that we deal with. A great way to scrub the siding from the ground, not having to get a ladder up. Absolutely love that thing. Probably the best pole I've ever purchased for this truck. This module here is our Phantom 100%, well, 99.9% pure water making machine. And below that, we got a 50-gallon tank that draws from our 50-gallon buffer tank. So this is a 50-gallon buffer. This is 50 gallons of pure water. And as I'm rinsing and creating, rinsing, the pure water is making water from our buffer tank, and always have 50 gallons of pure water on hand. From the top down, don't know which, I think I've got this cycle down right, but this is a deionizer, reverse osmosis, and 2 carbon filters here. And that's going to give us 99.9% pure water. It's very expensive. I think these cartridges alone are, each one is, I don't even know what the price is on those just yet, but I know they're not cheap. Yeah, but they do a really good job. And that's what we always finalize our windows with. We finalize our solar panels with. We finalize washing our truck down with. Anything that I want to have dry, spot free, I go with the pure water. And I've had instances where on darker houses where I've washed, especially on the ceiling parts, dirt would collect there after we rinse down. So with the pure water, it pulls the dirt off and it dries spot free. So it's really nice in that cases, and sometimes I have to pull that guy out. This is our filter system. So water coming in from the source water, could be a house, a well. We always filter here in Colorado. We get a lot of contaminants in our water. And that little guy there is just a metal screen filter. Never really have to replace that. I do check it on a monthly basis, and I always find little nuggets in there. So it's a lifesaver. You get crap in the line here, and it's gonna mess with everything else. So again, pure water 50 gallon, buffer tank 50 gallon. In hindsight, I wish I would have made this a 100 gallon buffer and a 50 gallon bleach tank. We just don't use a lot of bleach here in Colorado, but this is right here is 100 gallon bleach tank. I probably keep 15 to 20 gallons in there any given time. I don't use a lot of bleach out here in Colorado. Again, when I do use it, it is on vinyl homes with a little bit of organics, and if I just want a little bit more oomph behind my my surfactants, I'll go with that. So now we have our DC rinse. This is an ag pump. puts out about 100, between 80 and 110 psi. Can fluctuate depending on a few factors. Right now I think I'm running about 85, 90 psi. And we've got a few things going on here. So we have a water line here that we use so we can fill up. So by simply moving the switch up or to the left there, I have water pulling from our buffet tank. We use that for rinsing down our brushes, rags, and occasionally when you do things like me and get tear wash in my eye, I use that for my eye rinse or my face rinse. Just a nice quick way to get to some water, which is really nice. And then incorporated with this is our plant wash. And our plant wash is pulled from our buffet or our saddle tank in the back there, and I'll show you that in a second. But when we finalize it, our wash, even if didn't use any bleach, I still like to go through and rinse down all the plants with our final wash. Obviously, during our process, we do a pre-rinse of all of our plants, we do our wash, and then we end with the plant wash just to make sure everything's nice and washed and the plants are getting fertilized properly. So we use our plant wash for that, and that's all incorporated into our DC rinse system. And then we've got our blend module. You guys seen this before? I've broken this down a little bit. This allows us to essentially blend our surfactants, our sodium hypochlorite or bleach with water in real time. So when we pull up to a job, we kind of assess how much is going to be needed, and sometimes we're going to make some adjustments. And we have the benefit of doing that. We're not running on a single tank. We're not having to add water or add bleach or add soap. Trying to balance that out. We can do this in pretty much, I wouldn't say it's precision, but we can do a pretty good job getting a good mix and blend of whatever we might need. In this particular job, it's not extremely dirty, so I'm gonna go with a little bit of terra wash on one, got a green wash on one, and I'm adding just a little bit of bleach. I think I'm gonna turn that down just a tad, again, just to kind of give us a little bit of boost. And then our two final products here that we finish with is our Restore product and our Final Wash product. Final Wash is a great bleach neutralizer. Same thing with Restore. Restore is an awesome product. I love using that thing. I use it on hardy board, I use it on asphalt tiles, I use it on wood decks, fences, all that stuff. That's a leave-in conditioner. Does a fantastic job. I've actually seen the results of Restore after about a year of use. This last year I went back and checked out a house. I'll probably do a video on that. And amazing how well that product held up. And of course, Final Wash we use for our solar panels, we use it for glass, we use it to wash down our truck. Again, a bleach neutralizer, very strong product. Amazing. I like, and if we come across some metal roofs, siding, things like that, we always use Final Wash on our final, just to kind of make sure it's got a nice coat. It's a UV inhibitor. It just does a really good job. And then Rain is just our cover scent. So we are using a bleach. We are using the stuff that has a kind of a potent smell to it. We just do a cover scent. I sometimes just like to use this because it just smells good. Even if I'm not using bleach, I'll put just a tad in the line. It just smells good. The customer walks out, they smell it, it just smells fresh. They really like how that handles things. I have a ladder rack here. That's from my 6-foot ladder. Slides nicely in there. And of course I've got, I think my 20-foot, and I've got a little giant here that I can position in different things. That's coming in handy a few times. It's a heavy mother, but it does a really good job when I need it. Okay, coming to the back around the truck here. From top down, I've got my Softwash reel here. This is going to be our Softwash line coming from our 6X system. When we blend, it all comes through this line, goes out our hose obviously, and that's what we use for our application line. And then our rinse line is right here. This is what we use to rinse, that's what we use to pull in plant wash, etc. Everything's electrical on this. So I've got electric reels on all these guys. Very pricey, but I'll tell you what, worth every single penny. Every time I'm finishing a job, I can't imagine hand cranking all these after a long day of washing. It gets to be kind of a pain. And then we have our 5 battery here, 5 battery bank. And this is the kind of the guts that runs the whole system. This runs all of our electrical pumps, runs all of our electrical reels. So when we're on site here, that's doing all the job. And we charge this up every night. It does charge off the alternator, not as much as being plugged in, but we will plug that in. And up under here is our charging system. This is our inlet line. So when we bring water in from our source, it comes into this reel. Now this is the thing I opted to do. Normally we have a pressure washer line here, and I can show you that this slot here was where our pressure washer is supposed to go, but again, I wanted to be more or less a 100% soft washing company and advertise it as such. So I just decided not to put a pressure washer on there. There's a couple instances I probably could use pressure, probably would have sped things up a little bit, but essentially I haven't come across anything I have not been able to get clean with our soft wash process. So in lieu of that, I had a long inlet hose for our water installed instead, and it's been a life changer. There's been a couple cases where I've had to really go to get a long distance to get water, and I can't imagine just having like a 30 or 50 foot hose for that. I've literally pulled out 200 plus feet of that, and it's been a game changer here in Colorado. And then our pure water system, so that the filtered water comes out of this guy, and that's what we use for rinsing. I don't know why my camera's bouncing around a bunch, but we'll get that fixed and addressed. Okay, and coming back on the back side of the truck here, this is where our saddle tanks, this is where we keep all of our soaps. Left to right, we have our plant wash. This is a granule blend that we make on site because we go through it pretty quickly when we're washing. But we'll throw a couple scoops in there, fill it up, we'll blend it up, and it does a really good job protecting all the plants, neutralizing all the chemicals, especially the bleach, and fertilizing the plants as well. And you can find out a little bit more about that. If you're curious about that, I can make a video on that and maybe do some testing over time, maybe like a time lapse of testing, but great stuff. And in fact, I think on my website, if you go to plant wash, there is a time-lapse video that Softwash Systems did. Amazing. Rain scent, that's our cover scent. This is this guy here. Our final wash is here. Our Terra Wash, amazing product. I'll talk about more of that sometime. That's our dirt emulsifier. This is my favorite surfactant here in Colorado. So that Terra Wash goes in this. And these are, I think, 6 gallons. We do a gallon of our 6X blend and we fill it up to 5 gallons, and we get about 6 gallons out of that. And then we got green wash, and then our restore products. So again, all these lines come into our blend system, and they're blended in real time with water, however concoction we need before it gets thrown onto the house. So we have a lot of advantages with that. We're not having to do a lot of guesswork, not having to do a lot of math. In fact, the system is set up to be color coded and easy to follow. So a tech comes and needs to find out what the best concoction is. I always like to call it my blend cocktail. It's very simple. You know, it's color coded, and there's a little chart that says, all right, if for this particular surface or house, you're going to add, you know, red 1, green 2, whatever it may be. They can do that on the blend system, and now they're getting exact measurements, pretty darn close to what's needed. And we are part of the Good Stewards, so we promise to be very good to the environment. Everything we use is water-based, biodegradable, full electric system. It's kind of our promise that we're not adding or doing anything that's going to be more damaging. My whole philosophy is that I like to leave the property better than I found it. So that is our walk around video. Hopefully it's a little detailed for you guys. Amazing truck. This is all put together by a company out of Florida. Love these guys. I'm affiliate with them. Softwash Systems, look them up. They're not cheap, but they're high quality, and there's 30 years of technology that's gone into this bad boy to get it to where it is today, and they're constantly evolving and making things better. So without further ado, we're going to get started on this house, and it looks like Franco is done waiting for me, and he's trucking away already. So looks like he started this section. How's that looking, Franco? Paint holding up pretty good? Did a paint test there?
Stains on the siding came off pretty easy.
Nice. Okay. So he's trucking away on that. And we're just going to keep working our way around this house. And I'll try to shoot some video here and there, but for the most part, hope you guys enjoy the walk around video. And again, thanks for supporting my channel. I only got a 300 something plus subscribers, and I'm okay with that. I love the fact that people are actually getting something out of these videos. But without further ado, we're going to get to washing here. Take care. Rinse master over here. So we've already washed this section here. It's just amazing to me how much brighter everything looks once you get that layer of dirt off. So we worked around this corner here. Now we're going around the front of the house here. We did run into some areas where there was a lot of silicone that had a lot of dirt in it. I don't see too much on this side, but on that south or the north side there, a bunch of silicone. Kind of like right here, if you can see that. So siliconed in, dirt got on it, but we're finding out that our Terra Wash is tearing that up really nicely. Let it sit for about a minute or so. And what normally would be difficult to get off is coming right off with our wash. So all these little spots here, again, this is silicone where they try to seal up and got dirty. But let that sit, did a little agitation with the brush, and it came off nice. So got a lot of it around here. It's good that they're maintaining and they're keeping all the cracks and stuff sealed. But then the problem is just dirt gets in there and it looks like crap. So we'll come back through and I'll show you what that looks like once we go and get our soaps on there and let that do the thing. We have a little bit of zebra striping here. They didn't pay for that to be removed, but I'm going to remove that for them anyways. Got a little bit over here as well. So should be able to get that off with just our Terra Wash. But if we have to, we'll hit it with some gutter butter. So we'll see what that looks like. Alrighty, so we're working our way around the house here. We're on the south side of the house. Franco's doing a rinse down. We just applied a nice coat of soap on the brick. That usually takes a little bit of product to get that clean, but it's going to come out really nice. Didn't use a whole lot, but enough to get it nice and soaked. So we can do a rinse down on that. And then we're just going to continue to work it this way. We got a lot of windows, so we're going to finish in the back and work our way back this way using Final Wash and our pure water system to do the windows. And the beautiful thing about our product is what I've been able to find is it'll clean the screens and the window underneath without a whole lot of agitation. So in my experience, we haven't had too many cases where we had to remove the screens on these things. It just seems to get really clean. The soap works extraordinary. So I know it's a white house, but I can tell you when we hit this thing with our soaps, you can just see the amount of dirt that just comes off this siding. And it really makes a difference. I've noticed in the front already how just much brighter and whiter the house looks. It's almost got, like, this hasn't been washed yet. It's almost got like a yellow hue to it. And I think it's just from all the dirt, pollen, and crap that we have here in Colorado gets built up on them. And once we remove that layer, man, it really pops. Now, I've been paint testing. Every time I turn a corner, I'm paint testing before we get started, because I really don't know how many different types of paints we're using on this house. I would imagine that they've probably changed it from time to time. It's white, yes, but is it Sherwin-Williams white? Is it another product? I know most of you guys out there that are doing pressure washing, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the Sherwin-Williams. They're organic pigment in some of these paints. They will have an adverse reaction to bleach. So I'm always very careful. I turn a corner. All this has been paint tested, so I know I'm good here. I can go ahead and put on there. I'm not using a lot of bleach today, just enough to give my soaps a little bit of a bump, like I mentioned previously. And then we'll do the same thing. I'll paint this, test this corner, that corner, and maybe on top do a couple little shots up there as well. I just want to know what I'm getting into on each and every one of these houses. But that's where we're at so far. We're going to crank this one out, work our way to the back here. But it does a great job. Just on contact, just melts that dirt right off. You can see it just kind of bleeding. And that again is just that little fine layer that sits on there. It's really coming off this white. I bet you if this was a different color, like a darker color, we'd probably see more of that. And then we'd probably end up scrubbing the whole house. But for the most part, we're getting, I would say, about 90% of that dirt off just by spraying it. Franco's gonna do a real quick rinse here. And of course you got a bunch of bird poop, things like that. Yeah, you can see the dirt just kind of melting off that house. So satisfying. You know, and honestly, that's probably, they said the last time they had this house, like, quote unquote washed was about 5 or 6 years ago, and they used a pressure washer, and they said they just couldn't get it all off. They were too scared, because there are some areas that are really brittle, and we had to be careful just with even our stuff. The paint's kind of flaking, so we had to work around it. But I can just imagine some guy with the pressure washer just stripping that paint right off. Looking pretty damn good. All right, so one thing we're dealing with here is this stuff here. And this is, again, silicone with dirt built into it. And I'm finding the best brush to use right now is my fingers. Just get that out of there. It's just stuck on there. Little finger brush, a little agitation. That looks like it's coming out. Same thing here. Fortunately, we don't have it on very high spaces. That seems to be doing the trick. You know, and sometimes that's what you gotta do. You gotta get in there with the brush and a little bit of elbow grease to get that off, but it's coming off pretty good. It's just stuck on there. It just needs to be agitated. This whole section here. Yeah. Gotta do what we gotta do. And that should rinse off pretty nicely. Yeah, Colorado dirt, tell you what, it just finds its place in every nook and cranny. Alrighty guys, almost wrapped up here on this beautiful house here in Fort Collins. This 100-year-old home, a lot of history here. And we're finalizing doing the windows. So part of this process is we have a wonderful soap called Final Wash, which you've heard me talking about before. But we'll spray a nice little coat on there and do a scrub down. Sometimes we use a water-fed pole, but since we've got this type of window framing, it's just a lot easier to hit it with our green brush here. And really with the thing with our soap is you just have to agitate the surface. It doesn't take a whole lot of scrubbing. You just want to let that stuff do its job, let the chemicals work. And then what Franco's doing here, he's just doing a final rinse down with pure water. Nice shot there.
Just for the camera?
Little safety tip there, make sure your tip's on good.
Always check the
Before
tip.
shooting.
That's
It's always the tip, man.
always the tip.
So he's doing a pure water rinse down. We final washed on the doors. Anytime the area is like that, I always like to add final wash. It just gives it a nice protective coating on there. But this house came out beautiful. I'm gonna do a final walk around and then kind of wrap it up, but that's pretty much it. I think we've got about 1, 2, 3, 5, 2 windows on the side, so about 7 windows left, and we'll call it a wrap. Stay tuned for that. You guys get a little close-up walk around of how clean this place came out, but it's looking beautiful. Alrighty guys, we're all done here at this historical house in Fort Collins, Colorado, on the campus of CSU. College is over here. This is actually a really big area in Fort Collins. This campus is massive, and this just happens to be one of the administration houses here. From what I understand, this used to be where the dean stayed at back in the day, like I'm guessing like maybe 50s, 60s, and 70s. I may be off on that. But it's just a really cool historic house, and we had the pleasure of cleaning it. It was pretty dirty. There was a lot of dirt caked into different corners and nookies and crannies and all this other stuff, especially those areas I showed you where we had silicone that built up with dirt. And these are older. I think I want to say these are almost a single pane window, so they were a little bit of a pain to wash because that's actually, you know, wood framing on the outside. These ones are newer, but overall it came out really good. We do a basic wash on the sidewalk here and the little patio area there. They got a big event coming. They've got tables and chairs set up, and they're just doing a rename on this beautiful home, and they wanted it to look stellar. And from what I can understand, they are absolutely blown away. They did not realize how dirty it was, for one, and two, they didn't realize how clean we were able to get it. So let's just get a little bit closer look here. That's chipped paint, but all the nooks and crannies are nice and clean. It was full of dirt, a lot of dirt buildup. And again, this is why we don't use pressure, because we would have torn that up without a doubt. There's a lot of little areas that just need to be repainted and resealed up, but you can tell all this is just super clean. All the grout work that we had, issues with the dirt getting on the silicone under these boards, all that stuff's taken care of. Came out really nice. Let's walk around this side over here. And again, I attribute this to the quality of our process, the quality of our chemicals. They do such a wonderful job, and I'm always surprised. I mean, I've done a bunch of these homes, But the more I do them, and after I get done washing them, I'm just blown away. They always look so nice, very clean and proper. This just it's just smooth and silky, which I love. All the dirt in the window sills are gone. And again, that's kind of a byproduct of how we wash these things. Got Terra Wash, man, it gets in there, just grabs all that dirt and eats it up. Had a big wasp nest up here that we took care of. But overall, guys, I am super happy. They're super happy. And what a pleasure working on this historical building. And now we are a preferred vendor for Colorado State University. We are their, hopefully, their go-to cleaning company. And going forward, hopefully that's going to be the case. That would be nice to be the ones that they call for all their buildings, because they've got a lot of them, without a doubt. Well, that's it. I'll wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed the walk around video. Please comment below. Is there something I didn't cover or you want to know a little bit more about it? By all means, keep asking questions. I love hearing from everybody. We got a nice little community of 300 plus people. I really enjoy responding to everybody. I'm glad that people are actually getting some value out of these videos. I know they're just kind of like, well, this is what we do and here's our process, but I think it's kind of cool to see all this stuff come together. And I'm always open for ideas, so if there's something more you guys wanted me to dig into, by all means, let me know. But other than that, I've got 2 big houses tomorrow, one in beautiful Boulder, Colorado. I don't think I'll be doing a video on that one. That's going to be an all-day job. That is a wood siding house, vertical wood siding, which is really cool. Looks really kind of woodsy, but then it's a high-tech home. It's got a black metal roof on it. We're going to be doing a roof wash on that, so maybe I'll cover a little bit about that and how we do that. And that house is just caked in dirt. And I think he spent quite a chunk of money on it. I think it was about $4.5 million on this home. And it's dirty, really dirty. So we went out there, gave him a nice quote. He was pretty happy with it. So we're going to do that job. And then we have another one in Greeley on Thursday of this week. And that's hardy board. And I'll definitely be doing a video on that. I've got a new product I'm going to try. So we'll do some test spots there. But it's a darker hardy board. And it's going to need our full-on dirt removal, our scrubbing process. So I'm still on the hunt for a spray-on product to get the home as clean as we possibly can without having to put a brush on it. But sometimes that's just the name of the game. But anyways, guys, enough babbling. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully it's not too long of a video, but I'd love to hear your thoughts and everything on this process. And I hope you like the truck walk around. Have a good one. Take care.